Hi everyone, how are ya? Hope everybody's doing good. Welcome to any new subscribers to my channel. My name is Patty and I discuss crime and mostly the Summer Wells case, but tonight I want to talk about the similarities of the story of DeOrr Kuntz Jr., a little baby boy that went missing in Idaho and camping with his family. And he disappeared without a trace. And there's so many similarities between the parents. In this case, they not so much act like them, but so many different things happened. So that's what I'm going to talk about tonight, how it reminds me of the Summer Wells case. Okay, so this nonsense, this craziness, this madness on the YouTube streets with Don threatening people and drama, and this creator is upset at that creator, and everybody's complaining about somebody. It drives me crazy, you guys, when I'm looking just to find out information about Summer Wells. You know, here, Josh at the lab just tried to. He was standing up for the victims. I believe that's why he shared the conversation with the police officer on his channel. I think that's why he did it. I don't know. But he was trying to help the victims, I think, to prove to the audience that Mary wasn't lying and these people weren't lying, that Don was the one that was lying about what went on in Utah. Well, you know, you gotta expect, this is all I'm saying, is you have to expect that Don's gonna get mad for putting that kind of information out there. You have to look at this from your perspective. If somebody put that kind of information out about you and released your personal information, you would also be highly upset. And it's not surprising to me, Don's behavior, that he threatened both Mary and Josh at the lab because they were on video together. So, you know, to me, it is not normal behavior, but it is for Don, okay? So, if you gotta expect that things are gonna happen. Does it make it right? No. Is Don in the right? Absolutely not. He should not be threatening. But I'm just saying that, people, if you gotta expect some of the things that come back, because you can't, you can, but if you do those things, you have to expect that somebody's going to get back at you. You would not like it, and you would say something, and I'm not sticking up for Don at all. I'm just saying to you that you would probably be very angry, maybe even do the same thing, threaten them. Not to hurt them, but, you know, and so some of this stuff just does cause drama. And I know that Josh didn't have no intention of any ill. I believe, because I've seen Josh's heart, and he's really cared about Summer Wells and Mary and the victims, because, you know, he's been through some stuff in his life, and he knows. So, I think he has a good heart, and I think he was trying to prove, for the victim's sake, you know, that they weren't lying, and that this is actually going on, and that Don's lying. But you know how Don's going to react in these kind of situations. I mean, to me, he has all the psychotic behavior, you know, that Dr. Gary was on the interview room again, and he discussed all these behaviors, and Don fits them all. You know, all the things he did. He started fires. He stole from the family. He was a juvenile delinquent. I mean, he was in trouble all the time. I guess he burned, I don't know, some families. I don't know if it was the barn. He was cruel to animals. He breaking and entering. He was stealing women's panties. I mean, all these are signs of a serial psycho criminal that could, you know, do very bad things. And so that's why I choose not to mess around with any of these kind of people that, you know, you can discuss the case, but, you know, when you get involved live with these people, then you put yourself at risk of harm. You know, people come after you for talking really bad, especially if you're exposing them. And, of course, Don's really upset because Josh has exposed him, and so has Chris McDonough through really Mary and Jeannie have exposed them, but Josh and Chris have helped those two to be able to stand up and fight, you know, against what happened to them. And but I think it's just craziness, you know. I've seen creators fighting, a lot of creators getting mad again at Miss Daisy. I don't know why people just don't ignore her and don't go watch Crazy Crime Critters on the Farm. I mean, to me, she's just crazy. I don't bother her. I don't go say anything to her. And I don't make videos about her. And so what I'm saying is, everything we do as a creator, you got to expect, you know, what does the Bible say? What you sow, you're going to reap. So if you're putting stuff out, you know, it's like whatever you put out comes back to you. It's like a boomerang in the universe, you guys. So I try to stay away from the drama. I try to ignore these people. And, you know, it's just craziness to me. It's drama surrounding a missing child's case. You guys, you know, I'm grateful that I know from Mary and Jeannie and Chris and Josh at the lab. I'm grateful, okay, that we have this information of what happened to them, because it really does reflect, the past reflects on the present. And we can see that Don still blames his sisters for things instead of taking any real responsibility. That's how you know somebody has not changed, okay? There's no point, and I'm sorry, you know, if maybe this might upset people, but if I don't have something to say about the Summer Wells case, if there's nothing new, I'm not going to talk to anybody about it, really. I'm not going to go into too much of, I'm just not going to go out there just to put a video out. If I see something that is like what I've seen with the DeOrr Kuntz case and the similarities, then I'll share it with you. But what I'm saying is most of it is drama. There's things we already know. We know Don is a sexual deviant. We know that. I mean, he has proved himself to be that through the law, not just through gossip, okay? We know, I believe, that Candace and Don are responsible for what happened to their daughter. And they might not want to admit that, but I believe they're really skilled liars, that they've been lying and manipulating most of their lives. And that's what they're doing right now in their daughter's disappearance. I don't believe that she's with us anymore. I believe this was a homicide, maybe an accidental homicide, or maybe a send-off for some kind of money transfer with the child, with Summer. So we know that Don and Candace are guilty as all can be. It has to be proven in a court of law. So for now, we can only say, you know, we can't really prove anything, you guys. We can't do anything until the law enforcement moves. And I'm sitting here waiting for an arrest. I'm waiting for an arrest because that's all that this is going to have to take for something to move in this case. And they're probably going to end up having to do a trial with no body. And I do believe they have some evidence, some things. That's why they haven't released the 911 call, because I believe that, or their timeline. They have not, the police have not really established any timeline with us, and they're keeping that close to the chest. So I do believe that they have something on Don and Candace, or they wouldn't have been so suspectful of them. You know, I want to say this. Police, I don't believe that police just say, oh, these parents look guilty, so they must be guilty, and so that's that. No, I believe that police have seen so much in their careers that they know when someone is telling the truth or they're lying. They've seen so many similar cases of child abuse, child neglect, and so they just know. And the fact that TBI and Hawkins County have suspected that these parents from day one, and most law enforcement and professionals, even on the dang YouTube, you know, university, YouTube university, you know, most of those professional, like body speech analysis people, former FBI people, they have all said that they believe that there was no abduction and that the parents know more about this. But police don't just say these things just to say it, okay? I don't believe that for a minute. I know that people like to say, well, all cops are crooked. That's not the truth. There are a lot of good law enforcement men and women out there trying to do their job, and they get treated like crap for it. So I don't believe that they're just thinking Don and Candace are bad people. I believe Don and Candace have a history because they've moved around pretty much through their younger years. I've heard from different ones on YouTube that said that they use different plates on their vehicles. They switch their plates around. They use burner phones. I believe these two have been very active in crime. That they've been doing bad things most of their life, okay? Whether it's selling drugs, doing drugs, neglectful and abusive to their children. I mean, Summer's room, that house, that bedroom that Summer had to sleep in, oh, you know, right there, that is a red flag, and that's a sign. So anyways, you guys, I just cannot believe how much drama can happen over in the YouTube streets, and a lot of craziness. And I'm sorry that I have to take a break from it sometimes, you know, because, listen, I was watching the DeOrr Kuntz case, and he was only 2 years old when he went missing. And he, after 8 years, has still not been found, and no justice has been brought for this baby. And I feel so bad. He was a sweet, cute little baby, and he's still missing out of Idaho. DeOrr Kuntz Jr. His dad's name's DeOrr too, but Werner, or however you say his name, weird name, and his mother Jessica. And it's interesting that DeOrr's mother moved away 8 months after this happened and got remarried and left the father. And the father left the state too, to Utah. And the private eye detectives believed that something to do with Utah, that if you're the paternal parent, that you can easily just do your adoption with people in Utah, that they have some kind of legal freeness there. I don't know. Maybe that's why Don always wants to be there. It's weird all these things happen in Utah. It must be in the water, all these crazy people. But anyways, okay, so I just want to talk about baby DeOrr and the similarities, and I hope this baby gets justice. I really do. But I do believe the parents are guilty in this situation, and I'll tell you, and I'll talk about my theory as we go. This was a video done by Justice Baby DeOrr 2 years ago. So, under fair use, I'm just gonna, tell you my thoughts about this and discuss this, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about and show you. So, here we go. Hold on here. He was reported missing July 10th, 2015. The story given by the parents and what they prefer you to believe is that DeOrr went missing on the camping trip. Many are not sure he even made it to the camping trip. Either way, it's clear that the parents know more. Here we go. Let's go. Maybe someone knows more. Okay, so listen.
Jess's cousin, who lived above them at the time.
Okay, so we got... Hold on. Okay.
Begin. Not sure why Wednesday is when all the lies and weird stuff starts to happen. Jess's cousin, who lived above them at the time, posted a crying selfie of herself on Facebook at 2:25 p.m. Why is the cousin crying on a day some think was a day DeOrr really vanished? It should be noted that Jess's cousin was DeOrr's caretaker. Let's talk about the camper situation. Jess says, in written statement, that she went to Trina's house at 3 p.m. to help her mom, stepdad, and grandpa load the camper. But how did Jess help Trina with the camper at 3 p.m. if Trina was at work till 5:30 p.m. that night? It seems that 3 p.m. on Wednesday is important for Jess to mention. Both parents have written statements based on what had happened.
I might turn it up a little bit.
However, both of their statements contradict each other's, as well as not match what they say in words. Jess says she told Vernal about the camping trip that her mom asked her to attend last minute, mentioning Jess's written statement, yet Trina says it was planned a week prior. Aunt Lynn says Jess and Baby were at her house for dinner until Vernal picked them up. If they lived below Aunt Lynn, why did Vernal pick Jess and Baby DeOrr up? Where did he take them? Where did they sleep Wednesday night? So many questions and very little answers.
Did you know?
Stated that Jess's phone came late Wednesday night on the mountain, and he even confirmed it in a text. However, it seems the law enforcement who pulled the original phone records, as of today, is not aware of this ping. Did her phone ping or not? If it did ping, then our focus should be on Wednesday, right?
Weird that the mother's phone pinged the day before, I guess, or 2 days before. The day before. Up there on the mountain.
Grandpa Bob comes over to remind the parents about camping. Vernal answered the door. Eventually, Vernal heads to work while Jess stays behind to plan for the trip that many believe never really even happened.
It did.
Vernal says he found out about the camping trip that afternoon while at work. How? When Jess told him Wednesday, and he even answered the door to Bob that morning to discuss it. Vernal gets off work. He, Jess and Baby head to Trina's to connect the camper to the Suburban. Bob wants to pick up his buddy Isaac. The parents claim they have never met him before. How did Jess not know Isaac? She took care of Bob for almost a year. Anyways, Bob wanted Isaac to go so bad that they showed up at his house 5 times, according to statements made, but not in their written. Not sure why. They finally got Isaac, and Isaac claimed to have seen baby DeOrr in the back seat, per his interview. Or did he really?
Alrighty, let's go camping, but I just wanted to show you him again. This is baby DeOrr.
Isaac, and Isaac claimed to have seen baby DeOrr in the back seat, per his interview. Or did he really? Bob and Isaac drove the Suburban with the camper, while Vernal, Jess, and DeOrr drove in their black Dodge truck. On the way, they stopped at KJ's gas station to put air in one of the camper tires and maybe a few snacks. Didn't purchase any gas, then got back on the road to DeOrr. They all pull over, and Vernal gets out to put the camper on his truck, as the Suburban was overheating. They all pull over again, just before Mud Lake, as Vernal's truck is now overheating. They put the camper back on the Suburban.
Boy, it really don't sound like they're prepared, does it? I mean, you're going to take 2 vehicles that are running like crap, overheating, that you have to stop a couple times and switch the camper around, and you're leaving at 7 to 8 o'clock at night, and you don't get there till almost 9:30 in the evening. That's really weird to me that you want to go camping that late at night. Usually people start out early and they get their campsite set up so they have somewhere to sleep. It's crazy to me. And these 2 parents actually slept in the Suburban because they didn't have nothing set up.
packed the camper wrong. They continued till they arrived at the Mud Lake gas station to get some snacks to share. Although, they still didn't purchase any gas.
Weird.
It should be noted that Vernal claims his gas gauge did not work properly. By now, they're about 40 minutes into their trip.
So his gas gauge don't work properly, and he's been at 2 gas stations, and he's already went quite a ways. I think that's strange too. But hold on, I'm going to get to the similarities in Summer's
Once
case.
in DeOrr, they all stopped and got out at a restaurant for food, because Bob said they still had a bit to travel. By now, they're about 1 hour and 45 minutes into their trip. However, it was closed. It should be noted that Jess slips in an interview that once arrived in DeOrr, they were heading back up to camp. Back up? Thought they just got there. This is the actual time
This is the mother.
of her slip up.
Jessica.
They traveled approximately 45 minutes to the campsite from DeOrr and had arrived approximately 9:30
9:30.
p.m. By now, they're about 2.5 hours into their trip.
It's so weird to me, you guys, that this is a last-minute decision, supposedly, a spur-of-the-moment camping trip. I think that the father and mother wanted to go on this trip. I don't think it was the grandpa or Isaac. I think the mother this girl told her grandpa that, we want to go camping. Hook up your camper, let's go. But anyways.
Now that they have arrived at the Timber Creek campground, it is time to set up camp. It should be noted that there are 2 different Timber Creek campgrounds. We call them Upper and Lower. Both of them are located in DeOrr. DeOrr is reported missing in the Upper campground. It should be noted that Vernal says the camper was hooked at night because he can feel every movement Bob made. Per Vernal's written statement, but Jess says that they unhooked the camper when they got there. Jess gets DeOrr ready for bed and gives Vernal his dirty diaper. Vernal hangs it in a bag on a tree. Then they all sat by the fire. It should be noted that Isaac stated Bob had brought whiskey on the trip and started to slip that Bob had a drink of it, but quickly changed his story.
And I heard that Isaac was drinking too.
This is the actual timestamp of his slip-up. It should be noted that Jess's cousin once more posts a very interesting post on Facebook. Jess also speaks to Trina about the same time that night. Why is Jess's cousin so sad surrounding the days in question? Wonder what she knows.
She wanted somebody to wipe away her tears and hold her like a big brother. It's weird. Okay.
Bob and Isaac got tired and left Jess, Vernal and DeOrr by the fire to watch the stars while they went to bed. It should be noted that Jess mentions her and DeOrr had fallen sometime late Thursday, early Friday. But Jess's screenshot. Did something happen to him then? Or is she implying that during a tragic accident, it was because of him falling?
Listen. I want to go back to this in case you didn't see it. She said that he was annoyed Thursday night and Friday morning when my son fell down in the campground. And somebody told her fiance, why would you bring a 2-year-old camping? Maybe that was Isaac, because I think she said something like that. But why would you, Jessica? You and your hubby there, your boyfriend, not your husband because you got remarried. I mean, you got married, but the dad, you supposedly were with him And you're not paying attention to this baby at all, supposedly. You're down at the creek thinking that your grandpa's going to watch him.
To be noted that Jess mentioned her and DeOrr had fallen sometime late Thursday, early Friday. But Jess's screenshot. Did something happen to him then? Or is she implying that during a tragic accident, it was because of him falling?
Interesting that this is put in there, right? That he fell.
July 10th, 2015 is the day DeOrr went missing. Or was it really?
Isaac said he was there, and the police said that they found Isaac truthful.
The day starts out with Isaac waking him up by singing.
But I don't know if he is. But I think he is.
Biscuits flaky, brightening sky. Breakfast gonna stick to every rib.
I don't know about you, but Isaac does not look like the type of guy to act like that around complete strangers.
No.
Vernal, Jess and DeOrr woke up. Jess changed DeOrr's diaper while Vernal got out of the Suburban. Vernal says he got a blast at 8 a.m. They all discussed breakfast and Jess started a fire.
But Isaac does not remember having breakfast.
There were only 2 diapers mentioned the whole time. It should also be noted that Vernal and Jess claim they each started a fire, made breakfast, and was attending DeOrr per their written statements.
Well, you can't both be doing
Vernal,
the same
Isaac
thing.
and Bob were sitting by the fire, while Jess was tending to DeOrr, who had his hands full and kept getting too close to the fire and was tripping over his blanket. Isaac, however, says he got up around 9 a.m. to pee and went back to bed to live out.
Isn't that interesting that the parents would say in a statement that he was stumbling over his blanket, getting too close to the fire? Isn't that interesting?
12 p.m. and seen Vernal, Jess, and DeOrr leaving the campground for Isaac's interview.
Okay.
Jess noticed she was on her period.
I'm sorry, I have to back it up because I was talking, you guys. Okay, so listen here now, watch.
Isaac, however, says he got up around 9 a.m. to pee and went back to bed till about 12 p.m. and seen Vernal, Jess, and DeOrr leaving the campground for Isaac's interview. Jess noticed she was on her period.
So, Isaac gets up to pee, and these two are gone. Isn't that interesting?
And needed to head to town.
So now she figures out she's got her period, so she's got to go to town, supposedly.
Working on his truck about 10 a.m. while DeOrr was playing with the tailpipe and lug nuts for interview with Klein, but not in Britain. It should be noted that, at a later date, Vernal had repeated the same lug nut story to others but added a driveway to it and was nowhere near camp. Why did he place us in 2 different places and attach to the lug nut story, which happened?
Why? It's interesting. He said the day of Little Man and I were in the driveway because I was working on my Corvette that was parked next to my truck. Little Man wanted to help me but accidentally scratched the car with a screwdriver. I was a little upset but kept working on my car. At that time, Little Man was walking around my truck, and by golly, he noticed a lug nut missing and was like, "Daddy, where'd it go?" And I said, "I don't know, son." Little Man just kept walking along the truck and at some point put his hands on the tailpipe and was covered in soot. I sent him into the house for Jess to wash him up. Then he goes on to tell me how he fixed the scratch on his Corvette by painting it. So, you know, it's a huge red flag to me that you're telling us that, you know, if your car's overheating and you got a car running, you got an exhaust pipe, tailgate pipe, you know, a pipe, exhaust pipe, that baby's hand and arm is gonna burn. You know, weird, right? Okay.
And on the last day DeOrr was seen, Bob gave Jess money to get the things she needs, and some candy, also to be back by 1 p.m. Vernal, Jess, and DeOrr then headed off to town. It should be noted that Vernal and Jess claim Bob told them to be back at different times. Sometimes it's 11 a.m. and sometimes it's 1 p.m. Per their written statements. It should be noted that Bob told Klein that he might have taken a nap, but seemed unsure of the timing, and if it were a.m. or p.m. Per Bob's interview with Klein. On the way to the store, Vernal stressed that he needed more fuel. They stopped at the stage stop and were told where they could get fuel a few blocks down. After a few places, they found fuel. It should be noted that Jess did not tender her period the first time they were at the store, but yet approximately 1 hour later, after being lost getting fuel. Per their written statements.
How the heck did they get lost in this town? Look at this little town. It's got 600 people in it.
It should be noted that Vernal and Jess claimed that they took no photos of DeOrr the whole trip. But yet, in a message, she says this photo was taken on Friday the 10th. It should also be noted that Jess's description of what DeOrr was wearing the day he went missing is not adding up. When they returned to the store, Jess got her tampons and the candy that everyone wanted, and they even waited in line for about 45 minutes for food. They left the store approximately 12 p.m. per store receipt and written statement. It should be noted that Vernal and Jess each claimed to have bought candy for DeOrr, as well as unbuckle and buckle him in the car seat upon arriving and leaving the store. Vernal also mentions that he spoke to a red-headed guy for about 45 minutes while pumping gas.
45 minutes?
At a later date, says that he spoke to a different red-headed guy for the same amount of time in line at the store. I wonder how many redheads are in this story.
They got like 4 items.
It noted that not one person seen DeOrr that day, or any other day while I've been let door. Not even the people that they say seen him. There was not one camera in town. After...
So what's interesting though, I'm sorry, I gotta come over here and get a drink, you guys. Hold on. What's interesting to me is that, first of all, she said that DeOrr had on a camouflage jacket. His little camo sweatshirt jacket, fleece jacket. Well, actually, the investigators found it. And they found it at home. So I thought that was interesting. Also, I find it interesting that it takes them that long. Why are they trying to stretch out the time? I don't understand. I really don't. So let's carry on here for a few more minutes.
Leaving the teeny tiny town, Vernal, Jess, and DeOrr head back to camp. It should be noted that Jess makes some calls and texts to Trina Thursday night, Friday morning and afternoon that leave some questioning the reasoning of the conversations, such as texts only regarding Jess's period, like a code. They arrive back at camp at exactly 1:10 p.m. Bob tells Jess that they're late by 10 minutes. The story goes like this, for the attendees. Once back at camp, Vernal and Jess see Bob and Isaac pulling up to the camp about the same time in the Suburban. Vernal and Jess walk up to Bob and Isaac by the fire and see the 5 to 7 fish they caught. They claim to have caught them in the creek. Vernal did not believe they got the fish from the creek, so Bob told Isaac to show them where they were. It should be noted that Bob and Isaac are described as pulling up in the Suburban at the same time. Vernal, Jess, and DeOrr got back to camp. And another story, that Bob and Isaac were sitting by the fire when they got back. Some say that Bob and Isaac didn't get there till Friday, and that was the reason for them being in the Suburban. Isaac takes Vernal and Jess down to the creek to show them the spot. Then Isaac looked...
Okay, so, let me just think about that for a minute. how can you say that they're just pulling up? The grandpa and Isaac are pulling up, the guy that went fishing with grandpa. They're pulling up in the Suburban, but then you see him by the fire. Which one is it? And now they're going to talk about how Isaac is going to take them down to show them the fish that are in the stream. Because supposedly Vernon didn't believe it, the father. So that's the father's story, that he went with Isaac and Jessica, and they went down there to look at the baby, supposedly. They went up, no, not the baby yet. They just went down there. He makes no mention of baby DeOrr wanting to go back or nothing like that. Jessica's the one who said he changed his mind and she watched him go back to Grandma, kind of like Candace. She watched her go in the house. Well, she says that she watched him go back to Grandpa. But I don't think Grandpa knew that he was supposed to be watching the baby, even though the mother said that she told him that he was supposed to be watching him. And I think the same thing happened with Summer Wells. I don't think she told the boys to watch Summer, I'll be back, Candace. I think that she came back and said, I told you to watch him. And I think that's what they did to Grandpa here. I think they used him as a scapegoat. I told you to watch the baby, and, you know, that's what we told you. But here's the thing. So they're saying they're going to go down there. The dad's saying he's going down to see where these fish are. But Isaac said that him and Jessica went down there, and the father, Vernon, had the baby, and he was behind, and he did not show up yet. So I don't know when he ended up showing up to go fishing. He left a couple times, so, and that reminds me of Candace, some of those things, but just a minute.
Off to fish elsewhere. Vernal seen minnows and wanted to show DeOrr, so he headed back towards the camp. The lies start to double. Let's cover the story the best we can. It should be noted that Jess later tells investigators that Vernal never went down to the creek with her and Isaac.
See?
Instead, she says, DeOrr was alone with Vernal by his truck for approximately 20 minutes.
See?
Isaac also claims that Vernal was never at the creek with him or Jess. Isaac says that on the way to the creek, Vernal and DeOrr were right behind them, but soon noticed they were no longer in sight.
So Isaac seen them behind them for a few minutes, but then they were no longer, so he figured they went down to a different part. But, and Jessica said that he was up there at first. He was up by the truck with his father. So they all have mixed up stories, just like Don and Candace. So we're just going to go on for just a couple more minutes.
What was Vernal doing alone with DeOrr by the truck for 20 minutes?
Is that how the baby burned his hand? Did something bad happen, an accident, cover up, and he got rid of him during that time?
Why did he claim to be at the creek too? This makes it 2 times now, being alone with DeOrr by his truck today. When did he have time to fix his turbo? It sounds like Vernal knew where DeOrr was the whole time, and that Grandpa was never responsible for watching him. But we're gonna continue with the original story. Vernal heads towards camp and noticed DeOrr missing. He asked Bob where he was, and Bob didn't know. Bob claims at times that he was unaware of what DeOrr was actually doing around the campsite. He says at one point, he last seen DeOrr sitting by a tree playing with his boots, and another that he thought DeOrr had followed Vernal and Jess when they were leaving to the creek.
See? Right there. Grandpa said that he thought he followed his parents to the creek. Jessica said that she sent him back up the hill. that he didn't want to. He wanted to go back with Grandpa and have some candy. Isn't that interesting? So she watched him and kept looking back to see that he went back to Grandpa and said that she could see him with Grandpa. So, but Grandpa said that he thought that the little boy went down with them. See, because he wasn't even aware what they were doing. Okay, come on, get past this little... the mother calls her friend before she calls 911.
Bruno also called 911. But he drove approximately 1.5 miles down the road near the entrance of the cattle guard, just in case Jess lost service. It should be noted that, while everyone claims they were searching for DeOrr, it wasn't until later Jess slipped her client that Bruno went near the entrance of the cattle guard area prior to the 911 call to look for him, making that twice, leaving the campground area alone. What was...
Just like Candace leaving that area twice. And the cattle guard, Isaac said that he seen, when they said that baby DeOrr was missing, that he seen Werner, whatever his name is, seen him by the cattle guard, by these things over here. And the police said that the cadaver dogs hit on that spot. And then someone else said that there was a cooler missing, and even Isaac brought it up that their cooler was missing. And that they did find, when they dug up where the cadaver dogs hit, they found an area the size of a little cooler that had been dug up. So they don't know if it was like a holding area for baby DeOrr. You know, what his dad did, like hurt him accidentally, whatever, and then put him in there so that he could take him later when he said he was going to search. So that's interesting.
Important enough to hide that going towards the cattle guard was not mentioned in their written statements. It should be noted that, while Jess was on the phone with 911, she mentioned that she was emptying her wet pocket contents into the truck. She also said that she was getting out of the truck into her written statement. Why was Jess in or near the truck when Vernal wasn't a mile away?
That's right.
While Vernal is also on the phone with 911, he can be heard in the background of Jess's call. How? When Vernal is supposedly again a mile down the road and with the truck that Jess claims she's in at that moment. Okay.
Isn't it weird? So when you listen to the 911 call, you'll hear her talking, but you can hear him talking in the background to a different 911 dispatcher. And it's true, she's supposedly in the truck, and the truck's, supposedly a couple miles down the road. And he said he couldn't get service there, so he took off down the road. But funny that the mother, Jessica, she got service there right away. So... And in her 911 call, you guys, I don't think she sounded sad, scared, freaking out, or anything. I know it sounded like she tried to put on something that she was upset. But you can hear her, sound upset a little bit. But then when she's not paying attention, she's goes back to normal talking. And she's talking calm, nonchalant. So, really weird. So, anyways, let's go on.
Why does their story not match? Vernal was told by 911 to wait where he was, just in case they needed to reach him. He then lit up a cigarette and called his dad. He claims his dad didn't answer, but tells others he did. Why is it a big deal if he spoke to his dad? Now the 911 has been called. Help is finally coming. Or were they too late?
They had horses and everything, drones. They searched the reservoir. But you guys, it was only 10 minutes. It was only 10 minutes that Mom was away. And then all of a sudden, you know, hey, the baby's missing. I told my grandpa to watch him. So he couldn't have made it to this reservoir in 10 minutes, okay? And it wasn't deep, that deep. They said some spots you could walk over. Just cross it to your ankles. Get to the spot. Come on. So, this says it should be noted that Vernal and Jess were seen sitting on the back of the tailgate drinking sometime during the weekend while the search was going on. It sounds so familiar. Cute baby. Just love him. Hope you get justice, baby boy. I really do. I don't know what all this music's about, but... They thought he could have been abducted. They thought maybe an animal got him. Or he got lost. And they even believed all the way down to Bigfoot and aliens. How about monkeys and cornbread mafia in the Summerwells case? Unfortunately, it is determined by the FBI law enforcement, 2 private investigators, and more that his disappearance was caused by one or more of the 4 adults there. And I will say to you that the PIs, the sheriff, and the other PI said that they found Isaac to be truthful. They didn't think that he was trying to hide anything. But they also said, well, we're going to get to that. The conclusion is based on lies told in person, paper, by phone, text, and just between Vernal and Jess, they failed 9 polygraph tests. She failed, I believe he failed 5, and she failed 4. And we know that Don and Candace had multiple polygraph tests, okay? And you don't have multiple ones if you passed them all, okay? That means you have to retake them because you had some kind of problem. All right. And the PIs talked about this. Baby DeOrr. I just want to move it up just a little bit. She said it's so hard to keep so many lies in order, but we'll try.
It should be noted that the parents have refused to take DeOrr's case national, as well as turned down a $20,000 reward by a private investigator who wished to help.
So, just like Don and Candace, they really didn't want to go national with the news. And, well, Don and Candace were glad to hear about the reward fund, but I think they thought that they would get some kind of benefit from it. But yeah, these parents are just as suspect as Don and Candace.
They even stood up Dr. Phil and more, and stopped fighting for him altogether.
These are what stand out the most: the inconsistency, discrepancies, and lies. Now we'll point out some things that were not noticed until after DeOrr was reported missing.
Let's start.
Remember that everything in this video more is available on DeOrr's page. Justice for DeOrr.
How many nights did they really camp?
Yeah, how many?
Isaac mentioned in an interview that he wasn't sure how many nights they were there to camp.
Yeah, how many nights were they really there?
Also in an interview, Isaac seemed surprised to hear Bob was on oxygen.
That's weird, right? Isaac seemed surprised to hear Bob was on oxygen, although Bob is on oxygen and he was his friend.
But even though Isaac's story stays the same, first, it must be pointed out that between the 4 adults, they had 3 burner phones.
3 burner phones between them. All of them. Each had 3 burner phones.
Isaac factory reset his phone 3 times that Friday afternoon. We wonder why.
Isaac factory set his phone 3 times that Friday afternoon. We wonder why. Yeah, that's weird. I think he was afraid of being hooked up with them people.
It appears in Isaac's story that he is either sleeping or fishing. Almost as if he doesn't want to place himself anywhere near where Vernal and Jess have created a mess.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. He don't want to be involved with them. So he don't want to have nothing to do.
After all, it's said by law enforcement that there was blood evidence found on the back of the truck. However, it was considered washed with bleach before FBI got it.
It was said, after all, it is said by law enforcement that there was blood evidence found on the back of the truck. However, it was considered washed with bleach before FBI got to it.
Why do they say the word accident? Bob has quoted what's done is done. And when is the funeral?
When is the funeral, Grandpa said, like right away when he came home, because I think he knew that they did something to him. Like, you don't just disappear.
And during Isaac's interview, when asked if he thought there could have been an accident, he tried 2 times not to say that he was pretty sure there was, and then changed it both times.
Yeah, he kept saying, I'm pretty sure there was.
His title for news, with the timestamp of the slip-off at 4:07. Enough discrepancies yet? Well, there's more, but first, let's talk more about the campground and all the things discovered in it. Many weird things have been done or found found at this exact campground since DeOrr was reported missing. Number 1. When first responders had arrived on scene with a non-cadaverous dog, the dog seemed to be tracking the truck in the reservoir multiple times.
They're tracking the dad's truck and the reservoir, and I think that's where he took him by.
Searched the reservoir, creek, and a 3-mile radius, and maybe even more surrounding the campground.
But I think he put him by the cattle guard.
Number 2.
Temporarily till he went for a ride.
State person had dumped human remains into the reservoir within 24 hours of the accident.
Yeah, it's crazy that someone actually called and admitted to burying cremains in that reservoir, so they were worried because they were picking up a scent there in the reservoir.
A local was searching the area for DeOrr and had traveled up towards a reservoir where there was another camping area.
A local was searching.
When they had gotten to that spot, it was noticed that there were a few kid items tucked away in the nearby area. Those items were 2 old juice boxes, a kid's CD, and a half-full bottle of whiskey stuffed under a log and covered with a piece of wood.
Sound familiar? Isn't that weird? Supposedly the grandpa had whiskey, so why would anybody want to hide that stuff? Strange. Wait, aren't those the kind of things they brought along? Juice boxes. Yeah. Was that Baby DeOrr's juice and Bob's whiskey? Could have been. But why would you hide stuff there? Don't worry, anything posted or sent through DeOrr's website is automatically turned into the appropriate officials.
A dog was found buried within the campground, along with a bloody cloth that threw off cadaver dogs.
Interesting.
Number 5. There were even bones discovered in 2019 during a cadaver search of the area. After much patience, the bones were found to be of an animal.
Interesting stuff happened at the campground and near it.
On a side note, but not yet proven, on the morning of July 10th, a truck, in which looks like Vernal's work truck, was caught on the Highway 28 camera in Gilmore, Idaho. Did you notice the blue camping cooler in the back? Wonder if Vernal switched vehicles and that's why he was found to have purchased 2 times the gas he needed for the whole trip while in town Friday.
Yeah, he kept going back to get back gas.
It should be noted that Vernal and Jeff did their first interview the following Monday. You could totally tell they were lying through their teeth. In that interview, Vernal kept stuttering the word Snake River. Why? Not sure why they say certain things. Maybe some truth slipped out. Here is an example.
Yes, don't say that.
Why is Vernal coaching Jess on what to say and what not to say.
Coaching her what to say and not to
But
say.
what we found out about Vernal and Jess right after they left FBI's office blows our mind.
Right after they left the FBI office.
From having lost a child. And why so many were still searching the campground for their son.
They decided to go somewhere. And we're caught on camera doing what? Attending a sex shop. Yep. That's where they went. Right after talking to the FBI, isn't that so strange? Shopping for a sex toy. Apparently for a Clone My Willie. I don't know. Weird. Wait, what? Yeah, some people get off sexually aroused by crime. And it's sick. Never mind. We don't care what they got, what kind of toy they got at the thing. We really don't. I think we've enough coverage here anyways. Yes, baby DeOrr still needs justice. Please come, see, learn, share, or just remember. We only ask that you share his face and story to at least one friend so his case doesn't go cold. This is a solvable case. I believe so too. I believe the parents should have already arrested him for this. I mean, the police should have arrested the parents already. Sorry. JusticeForBabyDeOrr.com. So 8 years, really, he's been gone now, and they still not have found him, and they still not have solved this case. And I truly believe that the parents, that they did something. It was an accident, cover-up. And when the father was gone, on his little trip, he was disposing or taking the baby somewhere. That's what I believe. He's so dang cute, isn't he? He is a precious baby boy, and I'm so sorry that somebody did something to you that you did not deserve. You're just a baby, and they weren't watching you, and they neglected to take care of you. And
if you have any information to share that can be helpful to this case, please do Baby DeOrr a favor and share it with law enforcement.
1-800 The Lost.
Call 1-800 The Lost.
So, anyways, you guys, I just thought it was interesting that it took two of them to call 911, right? Both parents. I thought it was similar how they failed their polygraph tests and how they've kept up with these stories all these years. I mean, the grandpa was on oxygen, he was, and he wasn't in good health. And I don't believe he did anything to the baby, because where would he hide him? He couldn't, like, run off and hide him. Isaac, if Isaac did it, where would Isaac hide the little boy? And, I mean, they searched everywhere through there, with horses, with four-wheelers, with drones. And it wasn't really, you know, if you go look at this channel, it's called the Monsters Under Our Bed Crew, MOB Crew. That's a really good channel. And he shows a lot of videos about baby DeOrr. But he pretty much proved he went there with a friend. And they proved pretty much that there's no way he could have got out of there without somebody seeing him. He would have had to be, you know, like, take the road out of there and somebody would have seen him. And I think it's really strange that they waited a whole hour to call the police. And the sheriff even thought that was strange. And even Ronnie Lawson in Summer's case says, you know, what happened to the 4 hours, the missing 4 hours? Why didn't you call the police? So they believe she went missing around 3:30. And they never called till 6:30. So I don't know. 3-4 hours that they waited until they called. So it's interesting that this lady said that she didn't have many pictures of baby DeOrr out there that at the campground, but yet she was the type of person that always took pictures and put them on Facebook and Instagram or whatever, just like Candace. She said that was from that day, that swimming video, and I don't think it is from that day. I believe that there's a different timestamp on that. I don't know, but I think that the actual of her actually swimming was a different day. You know, maybe she got Hunter at the park that day. I don't know. It just is strange to me. That's just my feelings. I don't have any basis, you know, facts to base that on, but I just think it's strange that we didn't get any pictures of her planting these flowers that she was so excited about. And it's just kind of strange, you know, the whole day. And I truly believe that when that Don was not far from home, I believe he was home that day for a portion of time, maybe a half hour to an hour. I believe, or that I know that Candace met him somewhere, and I believe that they got rid of Summer because something happened, or they knew Protective Services was coming and they sold her. There's only a couple of options here, and I don't believe whatsoever, not whatsoever. People know, most of you know and believe that Don and Candace have done something to Summer Wells. They're innocent until proven guilty, and these are just my opinions and other people's opinions. But, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think you need any more evidence. I don't think you need Don and Candace acting like a fool even one more time to prove anything. It kind of gets on my nerves sometimes when I see people making fun of Candace. But, you know, like, everything they do, like, oh no, they colored the hair, oh no, she looks like this, oh no, oh no. And she does look ridiculous in orange with orange hair. She looks like she's getting ready to go to jail. But I don't think it's funny to just to mock people on purpose. I mean, I had to share that picture of Don that one time of him looking ridiculous with his hair. But, you know, it just seems so like a bunch of ridiculousness sometimes in the Summer Wells case, and not very serious. I don't think they're very serious about her missing. A lot of creators. There are some that do a good job and talk about her and things like that, but I just really haven't seen that many. You know, most of the time they're cutting down somebody or, you know, talking about gossip or somebody did this to them or that to them. But they're not really focused on the Summer Wells case or any other missing child case. So that's what I got to say about that. And, you know, I watch a lot of creators, I do. But I don't always comment. And I don't always catch their lives. But, so I'm not really in their little clique or in their club thing that they got going on where everybody, you know, is talking to each other in their little YouTube circles. Because I don't really get involved that much. I don't talk during lives. I don't try to really do much at all. I will comment on some things. But I'm just saying, I don't have the time to get that involved, but I do want to tell everybody that what's going to be really sad is that, like DeOrr Kuntz, this could take 8 years. This could take forever to find Summer Wells. And those parents in DeOrr's parents are still walking free. And I think his case needs to be brought out more, and people need to make more of an outcry, because I think those parents are responsible for what happened to that baby, just the same as Don and Candace. So, but you might not hear nothing for many years, and it might not be the news that you want to find out what happened to Summer. And so you got to watch your heart and your spirit. I'm trying to, like, not be so crazy involved with this case because, you guys, I know it's going to tear me up when I find out what happened to her. So, and there's nothing we can do about it. You know, whatever Don and Candace did to her, they did. It's already gone. It's done. It happened. And there's nothing we can do about it except hope and pray that the police have enough to bring them in to court or take this to the grand jury and tell them we need to bring arrest against these parents. I hope they don't wait too long. I hope they don't do what they did over here in DeOrr's case. But, you know, some cases take forever. I mean, there's been some that haven't been solved in a lifetime. But they are solving them. Because I just seen they solved one from a missing child from 1979. So they will do something, I believe, for Summer in this case. I believe the TBI care about this little girl, and I believe they want to find her too, and I believe they want to solve this. So I don't think it's going to go on for like 20 years, but I just want you to prepare yourself, because we have no doubt that Don and Candace will be arrested. I have no doubt that they had something to do with this, but that's what I'm waiting for, because until we hear something, there's really nothing to report. Sure, you can sit and report on Don and Candace's behavior all day long and talk about it, but it's not going to change the fact that Summer is still missing, and their behavior is not going to make in us pushing anything or getting everybody worked up is not going to push the police to do anything. We can get ourselves worked up over the Summer Wells case, but I'm saying us being worked up on YouTube and us arguing or finding stuff out about Don and Candace is not going to push the police or solve this any further. It's just not. And so they're going to do it when they find evidence and when they have time, you know, when it all comes together, when they have something. But right now, they don't have anything. So there's not much. So yes, I have my fire going. It is so cold here, you guys. We got snow. We got about maybe 2 inches, 1.5 to 2 inches of snow, and that was it. But I'll tell you what, it's like sub-zero temps out there. It's ridiculous how cold it's been. And, I mean, my house feels colder than it normally does of any winter that we've had. The floors and everything. But stay warm out there, you guys. But yeah, I don't really give a care what Don and Candace are doing. You know, people give them too much attention on their channels, and they don't deserve that much attention. I think that Summer, her picture, you know, talking about her, trying to put it out there to the public that maybe somebody will listen to this video. Maybe somebody will come across it and say, oh, I seen something about those people, or I heard something, or whatever. You never know. But you got, you know, it's about these kids. And I'm trying to keep their names out there. Michael Vaughn, too. You know, they got all these suspects, but I wish they just make an arrest already and convict somebody of this, because it's terrible. Also, I'm not sure if you heard, but Chad Daybell's trying to get out of the death penalty, but I don't think the judge is going to let him, and I think Lori's going to face the death penalty in Arizona, and she might very well get it there. And I'm sorry to say, most of my feelings are rightly so, because they took the lives of 4 people. Tammy, Charles, and the kids. So, Tylee and, oh geez, I forgot his name for a minute. I'll remember it in just a second, but, anyways, Lori Vallow is facing serious charges for the death of Charles Vallow in Arizona, and she was already transferred there as far as I know. But they both need to be serving time for the crimes that they committed, and it's horrible what they did to their kids, to those kids and those people. So, but yeah, Don and Candace are always playing games. They're always lying. They're always manipulating everybody. They think everything's a game. They're not concerned about their daughter. So we all know these things. So it's no surprise how they behave, okay? We just need the police to arrest them. That's what I want anyways. So, well, I felt like I had to check in with you guys. And I wanted to just tell you about the similarities. I think something happened to Summer and they got rid of her. And when Candace took off down the road a couple times, it's weird that nobody gets service. And it's weird that Candace switched phones. To me, it was all planned out. And I think that DeOrr, whatever happened, that could have been planned out too. It was strange. So, anyways, you guys, I just felt the need to check in and say hi. Tell everybody I love them. I hope you're doing good. Keep praying for these kids. And for us to find Summer Wells, Michael Vaughn, baby DeOrr. Pray for justice, you guys. And don't stop speaking their name or bringing awareness for these missing kids, because, you know, we are their only voice. So, you know, those of us who talk about her and these kids, we are their voice, the missing, and they need people to speak about them and to cause maybe some aggravation, I don't know, until the police do something. But I'd like to see them move in this case. Just like everybody else, I'm frustrated. But I don't want to be heartbroken that bad either. So I think it's important to kind of back off a little bit, you know? So everybody take it easy. I can't believe it's going to be December in a couple days. And then Christmas, you guys. The months going by, just flying by, you know? So anyways, take care. God bless you. And don't get caught up in any craziness, okay? All right, good night. Bye, you guys.